Environmentalists say the world's biodiversity is in peril. This is evident in Sierra Leone as a lot of biodiversity species are now extinct owing to the economic and social activities of man. The engagement aims at creating an enabling platform for stakeholders that are into biodiversity conservation, environmental management, and related natural resource initiative to dialogue on the present opportunities to support biodiversity work. The Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund initiative investment in the hotspot strategically looks at empowering local communities to engage in sustainable management of 40 priority sites and consolidate ecological connectivity at the landscape scale, mainstream biodiversity conservation into public policies and private sector practice in the 9 conservation corridors at local, sub-national, and national levels, safeguard priority global threat species by identifying and addressing major threats and information gap, build capacity of local civil society organizations, including indigenous people, women's and youth groups, to conserve and manage global important biodiversity, among others. Stephen Tommy Garnett, team leader for regional implementation team of the BirdLife International and of the Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund initiative for the Guinean Forest of West Africa hotspot, talks on the present state of Sierra Leone's biodiversity.
They came up with the concept of biodiversity hotspot. So in every given ecosystem, the areas that are most threatened in the circle. Why hotspot? A hotspot is a place, in the biodiversity terms, is a place which is very rich in species, at least 1,500 species, plants and animals. It has to have a minimum of 1,500 plant and animal species, of which are living in a habitat, 70% of which has been destroyed. Sierra Leone is rich in biodiversity, and Sierra Leone is part of the Guinean forest ecosystem. There were places when they started the assessment 20 years ago, there were places that seemed okay, and due to economic and other social pressures over the years, they too are now threatened. I'm not aware of any hotspots 20 years ago that have been cleared of the hotspot status. If anything, some of the hotspots have become even more hotspots. If it was hotspot with small h, it's now capitalized World 72 font. And I think that our hotspots, at least the part of our country that fall within the hotspot, fall within that category of capitalized H.
The Jeff Small Grant Program is a community-driven initiative that also do focus on solving the different environmental problems within Sierra Leone. The national coordinator, Abdulrahman Sano, said their present target is the Gola Forest, and however urge on CSOs and CBAs to grab the opportunities in the Jeff Small Grant Program.
Biodiversity, and we have climate change mitigations, we have international waters, we have chemicals, and we have land degradation and sustainable forest management. So for the first focal area that I mentioned, the conservation of biodiversity, we will encourage community-based organizations, civil society organizations, and communities to come up with projects that will address conservation issues. And those projects will be evaluated by a national steering committee, and then if found to be very worthy in terms of initiative, they will be funded. Normally our grants, the maximum we can give per project is $50,000 per project, and it normally lasts for 1 year. Beneficiaries, one is the local communities themselves. For instance, for the sixth operational phase, we are targeting Gola Forest, and Gola Forest is located in 3 districts. We have Kailan district, Kenema district, and Pujen district. And within those 3 districts, there are 7 chiefdoms directly adjacent to Gola Forest. Malema in Kailan district, and we have 4 chiefdoms in Kenema and Bari and Mapele in Pujen district. So those are the communities that directly benefit. For the communities within those chiefdoms, I mean, it is from our research, there are about 122 settlements that are directly dependent on the Gola Forest. So these are the communities that we directly benefit, because if you are taking, you've talk to them to not farm in the Gola forest, you have to give them alternative livelihoods. So these are the communities that we directly benefit. And also the community-based organizations and NGOs that will articulate proposals and send to us, they will also benefit in terms of capacity building.
But how concerned are participants who formed part of the dialogue on biodiversity conservation?
I think it's very important to make different stakeholders come together and see how they can work together on these issues, because it's not about isolated cases, it's something that's happening in the whole region, of course. And I think that we can learn a lot from sharing the experiences that we have from different countries and that other organizations here have from working with issues concerning biodiversity and particularly also with business operations.
When you look at the forestry division, they should be taking care of a whole lot of our protected areas, and when you talk to them, they will say, we don't have the capacity. We don't have the capacity. So most of our protected areas, most of the key biodiversity that we should be protecting are not protected simply because the capacity is lacking, both financially and human.
The fund was established by the World Bank and a number of donor partners to invest in what they've considered biodiversity hotspots around the world. Samuel Koroma, YV News.